The dollar is dying. February 2022. Russia invades Ukraine. The West freezes $300 billion, not in Moscow, in New York, in London, in Brussels. Russia's money, gone. Every country watching thinks the same thing. If they can do that to Russia, they can do it to us. That's when everything changed. This is the story of how the dollar lost the world. To understand why $300 billion matters, you need to understand how the dollar became powerful. 1944. World War II ends. Europe destroyed. Asia destroyed. Only America has gold. 44 countries make a deal. Currencies tied to dollar. Dollar tied to gold. $35 equals 1 ounce. Suddenly, everyone needs dollars. This was power. America controlled the printing press. 1971. Nixon breaks the gold promise. Dollar becomes just paper. But it survives. Why? No alternative. What else would they use? The dollar survived. But America needed insurance. Something everyone needed. Oil. 1973. The Petrodollar deal. Henry Kissinger flies to Saudi Arabia. Makes an offer. Sell oil only in dollars. We protect you. Saudi agrees. Now oil equals dollars. Want oil? Need dollars. For 50 years, this locked the world into the dollar system. Every country had to hold dollar reserves, trade in dollars, borrow in dollars. Not because they wanted to, because they had no choice. Until now. February 24th, 2022. Russia invades Ukraine. The West responds. Not with troops, with finance. They freeze Russia's central bank reserves, $300 billion, locked. Cut Russian banks from SWIFT, the global payment system. Block Russian oligarchs, yachts seized, accounts frozen. Ban Russian oil from Western markets. The goal, collapse Russia's economy in weeks. Putin's response, fine. We'll trade without dollars. Russia starts selling oil to China in yuan, gas to India in rupees, wheat for gold. It should fail, but it doesn't. Because while the West sanctioned Russia, the rest of the world watched and learned. China's central bank governor sees the $300 billion freeze, thinks, we have $3 trillion in reserves. If the US can freeze Russia's, they can freeze ours. China starts reducing dollar holdings, buying gold, 1,000 tons in 2023, building alternative systems. Saudi Arabia watches too. For 50 years, they sold oil for dollars. But if dollars are a weapon, 2023. Saudi accepts yuan for oil, first time since 1973. The petrodollar just cracked. India, Brazil, UAE. Same pattern. We need options. And suddenly, a 5-country club called BRICS becomes something else. August 2023. 6 new members join: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Iran, Egypt, Ethiopia, Argentina. Let me explain what each brings. Saudi Arabia and UAE. Together, 15 million barrels of oil per day. Massive energy power. Iran, already sanctioned, already using alternative systems. They know how to survive without dollars. Egypt controls the Suez Canal. 30% of global container shipping passes through. Ethiopia, 120 million people, fast-growing economy, strategic location in Africa. Argentina, rich in lithium for batteries, major agricultural exporter, desperate for dollar alternatives. BRICS now controls 45% of global population, 36% of world GDP, 40% of oil production. And they announce, we're building a new currency. The dollar's monopoly is over. So how does BRICS actually challenge the dollar? 3 mechanisms. Mechanism 1, alternative payment systems. Right now, international payments go through SWIFT, controlled by the West, and dollar correspondent banks. If Brazil sends money to India, it routes through New York, even if America has nothing to do with it. This gives America power. They see every transaction. They can block payments. They can enforce sanctions globally. Russia got cut off. So did Iran. BRICS solution: China's CIPS system, Russia's SPFS, India's UPI International, direct central bank connections. CIPS handled $200 billion in 2023, growing 40% annually. They're building parallel infrastructure. One America can't control, one that doesn't route through New York. It's slower than SWIFT, less efficient, but it works, and it's improving. Mechanism 2. Commodity backing. BRICS controls the resources the world needs. 40% of global oil. Russia, Saudi, UAE, Iran combined produce more oil than traditional OPEC. 70% of rare earth elements, almost all from China, essential for smartphones, electric vehicles, wind turbines, military equipment. 30% of global food exports. Brazil and Russia are agricultural superpowers: wheat, corn, soybeans, beef. The strategy is simple. Want our oil? Pay in our currency. Want lithium? Yuan only. Want wheat? No dollars accepted. They're not trying to replace dollars everywhere. Just for commodities, for physical goods. If oil no longer requires dollars, half the dollar's power vanishes. This is already happening. Russia sells oil to China in yuan. Saudi Arabia started accepting yuan in 2023. These aren't small transactions, billions of dollars worth. Mechanism 3. The digital yuan. China built a digital currency, ECNY, electronic currency, Chinese yuan. Not Bitcoin, not decentralized. The opposite. Fully controlled by China's central bank. Every transaction tracked. Every yuan programmable. 260 million Chinese citizens already use it. That's almost as many people as the entire United States. But the real strategy is international. China is offering digital yuan to Belt and Road countries. What's Belt and Road? China's infrastructure initiative across 60-plus nations. Ports in Pakistan, railways in Kenya, power plants in Indonesia. $1 trillion invested. And China is saying, use our digital yuan for payments, instant settlement, low fees, no dollar conversion needed, no American oversight. Kenya is testing it for infrastructure payments. Argentina is exploring it for trade. Brazil is discussing it for commodity settlements. If digital yuan scales internationally, dollars lose a key advantage: the payment network. This isn't theory. This is happening now. Real examples. Kenya. Chinese contractors building infrastructure get paid in digital yuan. Argentina. Paying China in yuan for imports. 50% of their bilateral trade. Brazil. Announced a deal to settle trade with China in yuan. Brazil is the 9th largest economy. This matters. Saudi Arabia. Selling oil to China in yuan. Breaking the 50-year Petrodollar monopoly. Russia. 90% of Russia-China trade happens in yuan and rubles. $0 involved. Each transaction is small in the grand scheme, but they add up, and they're accelerating. The shift is happening. Slowly, incrementally, but unmistakably. So what happens next? 3 scenarios based on current trends. Scenario 1, dollar survives, 40% probability. BRICS fails to coordinate effectively. These countries have deep conflicts. India and China have border disputes. They fought a war in 1962, clashed again in 2020. 20 soldiers died. Tensions remain high. Saudi Arabia and Iran are sectarian enemies, Sunni versus Shia. They fight proxy wars across the Middle East. Russia and China are partners of convenience, not true allies, each wary of the other's ambitions. With these conflicts, the BRICS currency project stalls. Too many disagreements, too many technical challenges. They can't decide governance, can't agree on backing, can't resolve power sharing. Alternative payment systems remain niche. They work for specific bilateral trades, but they don't scale globally, can't match SWIFT's network effects. Dollar remains dominant. But even in this scenario, there's a cost. Dollar share of global reserves keeps declining, 2000, 72%. 2024, 58%. 2030 projection, 50%. Still number one, but no longer the overwhelming monopoly. Scenario 2, multipolar system, 50% probability. This is most likely. No single currency dominates. By 2035, the landscape is fragmented. Dollar, 40 to 45% of global trade and reserves, still largest, dominant in Americas, primary safe haven. Yuan, 20 to 25%, dominant in Asia, preferred for Belt and Road countries, used for most commodities from BRICS. Euro, 15%. Mainly European trade, some African nations due to colonial ties. BRICS currency, 10% if launched, used for intra-BRICS trade and commodity transactions. Gold and others, 5 to 10%. Some countries increase gold reserves. Some use regional currencies. Regional currency blocks emerge. Americas stay dollar zone. Asia becomes yuan zone. Europe remains euro. Middle East is hybrid. America stays powerful. Largest economy. Strongest military. But not financially dominant. No country can weaponize finance like America did to Russia, because alternatives exist. Scenario 3, dollar collapse. 10% probability. Low probability, catastrophic impact. Something triggers crisis. Maybe U.S. debt spirals. Already 34 trillion. Interest payments exceed 1 trillion annually. Maybe major war. Maybe financial crisis worse than 2008. Maybe BRICS launches gold-backed currency and oil producers switch simultaneously. Countries panic, rush to dump dollar reserves. Dollar plummets, loses 50 to 70% of value rapidly. Hyperinflation hits America. Not Weimar levels, but severe. Imports become unaffordable. Oil, electronics, clothing triple in price. American living standards collapse. Retirement savings evaporate. Middle class devastated. Global economy crashes. Even countries wanting alternatives aren't ready for rapid transition. Trade freezes. Credit markets seize. Unlikely, but possible. History warns us. British pound dominated for 200 years, from 1720s to 1920s, then collapsed in 20 years. World War I started decline. World War II finished it. By 1945, dollar replaced pound. Could same happen to dollar? Yes. Question isn't if. Question is when. So where does this leave us? If you're American, your wealth is tied to dollar. Salary, savings, retirement, home value, all in dollars. If dollar weakens, you get poorer. Purchasing power declines. Standard of living drops. If you're Chinese, your moment approaches. Yuan rising. Economy growing despite challenges. Global influence expanding. If you're everyone else, you're choosing sides. Dollar or yuan? BRICS or West? America or China? Your decision shapes your economic future for decades. But this isn't just economics. This is empire dynamics. Rome ruled with gold for 400 years. Then currency debased. Inflation destroyed it. Empire fell. Spain ruled with silver for 2 centuries. Then silver depleted. Spain declined. Britain ruled with pound for 200 years. Then 2 world wars destroyed it. America ruled with dollar for 80 years. Every empire believes it's eternal. Romans thought so. Spanish believed God chose them. British claimed they brought civilization. None lasted. Empires fall when money fails, when trust evaporates, when alternatives emerge. Dollar isn't falling from military defeat. It's falling from overreach. America weaponized its currency, froze $300 billion, showed the world dollars aren't safe. Question isn't if dollar falls. Question is when, what replaces it, and what new order emerges. Answers are being decided now. This year, this month. While you watch, China signs currency agreements. Saudi accepts yuan. BRICS expands. Digital yuan spreads. Dollar's 80-year reign is ending, not with crash, with agreements, shifts, quiet deals. When you look back in 20 years, this moment, 2024, 2025, this is when it changed. When world stopped using one currency, started using many. When American financial dominance ended, when dollar lost the world.